Hi, my name is Ralph. We're going to look at Genesis. Genesis, it's a book of beginnings, lots of beginnings. Of course, we all know, based on the Bible, that this is the beginning where God created the heavens and the earth, and then the sun, the moon, the stars, and the moo cows, and the bunny rabbits, and the butterflies, and the snakes, and the lions, and the tigers, and the bears, and all that. It's also the beginning of an introduction to a family, and sin, murder, rules were started here. Redemption was anticipated in this first book of the Bible. Redemption is important to me because my life has been redeemed. God redeemed my life, and I want nothing more than for you to see as we begin to study and look at some of these verses that God can do that for you as well, because He loves you and calls you good. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, what you bring to the table, He knows you, and you are not a mistake. Verse 1. In the beginning. This is not a baseball joke, in the big inning. Baseball wasn't invented yet. This is in the beginning, the very start of things. Is that the start of things? If we go over to the Gospel of John in the New Testament, there's a couple of verses that begin before this beginning. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Okay, the Word here, logos, it references Jesus, God's Son. Okay, so in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. And now listen, all things were made through Him, and without Him, nothing was made that was made. So evidently, there's another beginning that is before this. Why do we focus on this right here in Genesis? Because this is the beginning of the history of mankind. It's hard to conceive beginning something that was from everlasting before already. I can kind of wrap my brain around an endless thing, because we always live for the future. But for there to really not be a beginning, a stake in the ground, in the beginning, now for our sake, we're going to start right here with earth. All right. In the beginning, God. Isn't it crazy? It just assumes God. It doesn't do a philosophical argument. It just simply plainly states, in the beginning, God. Then, what did He do? God created. Fascinating word. That word created is not something that we can normally understand, I don't believe. The Hebrew word is bara, or it's spelled B-A-R-A, and it means to literally make something out of nothing. That takes imagination, creativity, and the ability, the power to do so. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Earth is not part of what we're going to read about in the next 6 days. You know, day 1, He did this. Day 2, He did this. Day 3, He did this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Let me say something real quick about that word bara. When God made Adam and Eve, when He made Eve, that's a different word. It's called, I wrote it down here, it's called we-ye-ben, the Hebrew word, which actually means to form something out of something. Okay? So it's not a brand new creation out of nothing. God created the heavens and the earth. He came up with it. The earth, it says, was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. There is a lot of discussion about these first three words in the second verse. The earth was without form. In Hebrew, that word actually means became, or could mean became. And these biblical scholars, these wise people, believe that it could be that there's actually a time span between the first verse, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And then the earth became without form, and it was void. Now, the thought behind all of that is a war that went on above the realms of things that we know, a war between good and evil, the war between God and Lucifer. That Lucifer rebelled against God, and he was exiled out of heaven, out of the presence of God, and cast onto earth. That would explain why the earth became formless and void. Things seemed to always go toward destruction with him. And darkness was on the face of the deep. That word darkness, it means it was so thick, almost like you could touch it. In Exodus, you remember when the children of Israel went out of Egypt, there were the 10 plagues, and before they were allowed to leave Egypt, darkness covered the land. That's the same word. It was in Exodus 10:21. That's the same word that is being used here. And darkness was on the face of the deep. So the darkness that covered the earth was thick, it was nasty, it was evil. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. The word hovering, referred to the Spirit of God, is comforting, soothing, calming. Right now, our lives are quite possibly in a bunch of turmoil. It seems like we just keep running into roadblocks, sort of like we're running around in darkness. How often have we longed for there to be real comfort? The good news is God's Holy Spirit is still there to give me, to give you that comfort, that soothing. God has His arms wide open to take you in and adopt you and me as His children. And then that comfort is ours to have. Let me go on. There's controversy. Is it all part of a cosmic accident, or is it intelligent design? If this is all a product of a cosmic accident, then really comfort, soothing, those things are just sentimentalities, emotions that really in the scheme of things don't matter, because if all is just an accident, just a happenstance, and you and I are here out of happenstance, then I reckon we don't really matter. If it is in fact through intelligent design, then what God created, and He keeps saying it is good, then you and I are a creation that is good. That's reason enough for me to continue to look at this to see if this is really true. No matter which way I believe, a cosmic accident or a deliberate design, well, that's going to define how do I view my life. Why am I here? I didn't ask to be here. If I'm here, where am I going? Where am I going to go when I die? Is there any purpose in any of this? For today, let me conclude with this. Atheism, Gnosticism, or Christianity, none of those will ever eliminate here on earth sorrow, pain, suffering. But atheism and Gnosticism, they do nothing for, they have no answer. God, Christianity, Jesus Christ, does have an answer. If there is pain, if there is suffering, if there is purpose, intelligent design, if there is eternity, and I am God's child, then I can look forward to an eternity where there is promise that there will be no suffering, no sorrow, no pain, no sickness, none of that. For today, I want to stop here, and I'd like to invite you that if this is interesting to you, if you feel like this is something that maybe someone else can learn from, we're going to go through the book of Genesis, verse by verse. Today we covered the first 2 verses. Yay! If you know that it can think of someone, maybe a family member or a friend, someone who's going through a hard time, someone's looking for purpose, direct them this way. Maybe they can learn as well. I hope you learned something. If you'd like, hit the subscribe button. I'm supposed to say those things. So there you go. I got that behind me. For now, let me leave you with this final thought. God, in His ridiculous mercy, has opened up, it's like open enrollment into His everlasting kingdom, His everlasting family, and you can be a part of that. Take care. We'll see you the next time.